it. They're not coming out and saying, hey, don't blame libertarians, don't use anti-terror laws to go after the American people. Just like we've said, don't use these laws to persecute Muslims. No. They're saying, good job, get them. That's the bad guy. Right there, Alex Jones, Ron Paul. A video purporting, this is AP, to be by Somali al-Qaeda-linked rebel group, Al-Shabaab, urged Muslims to attack shopping malls in the United States, Canada, Britain, and other Western countries. U.S. authorities said there was no credible evidence suggesting a U.S. mall was in the works, even though they said so. The threat by the al-Qaeda affiliate came in the final minutes of more than hour-long video released Saturday in which the extremists also warned Kenya of more attacks like the September 2013 assault on the Westgate Mall in Nairobi, in which 69 people were killed. So this is Somali terror group that has attacked malls, is saying, and of course, the same link group attacked the mall there in India. And it turned out the government knew about that, and the head of the Indian anti-terror force tried to stop him, and he was killed hours before the attack was launched, probably by an inside job. So this is what's being hyped up. This is what's being prepared. And don't worry, when it happens, or when jet airliners get shot down by Stinger missiles given to al-Qaeda and ISIS by our criminal government, Obama will have a summit, and they will blame veterans and gun owners and libertarians and Christians that have the lowest crime rate of any group in the United States. Again, they had their two-day meeting last week and came out and said the main threat is basically white people. If you slip on a banana peel, white people did it. And again, this is all part of just the divide and conquer strategy. And then they're turning the Middle East over to these radicals who then run around and kill non-radical Muslims. So there you go. Somali extremists urge attacks on U.S. shopping malls. And Minneapolis-St. Paul is loaded with recent immigrants from Somalia. Loaded. This is part of our government immigration program. Threat of attack draws shrugs at North American malls. Reuters. Kenyan president, Nairobi siege, makes comments on the malls. So that's just some of the news I've got on this front here. But I wanted to get into this article, the terrifying rise of ISIS. Map shows how terror groups' tentacles now reach from Algeria to Afghanistan. And if you're watching at Infowars.com/show or PrisonPlanet.tv, you can see this, or just go to the Daily Mail article. They have an excellent map that shows them out of their Iraqi base given to them by the globalists, by NATO 5 years ago, then launching attacks into Syria, Jordan, and Egypt, as well as the West Bank. They're now attacking, again, Libya. They've taken the entire coastal area, as well as Tripoli. And, of course, who cares about the rest? It's all just desert. And now the same groups are spilling into Kenya and as far south and west as Nigeria. And as far east as Afghanistan. And it's all been resettled, re-upped, resupplied by the West on record as the Free Syrian Army. And they've now taken large swaths of Syria and Iraq as their new homeland. And then it says major ISIS stronghold is a black flag. Areas in black are the roads in towns they fully control. And, of course, that's the oil fields and oil pipelines as well. And there's no investigation of who's buying the oil from them. I mean, the federal government says that if you give money to a charity that then gives money to some affiliated group, you can get life in prison even if you didn't know. But then, meanwhile, the big oil companies are allowed to just sit there with their big ships at the Suez Canal and other areas, the Strait of Hormuz, and load up on this oil that's coming out of those pipelines. This is so obviously the West and Saudi Arabia giving a funding mechanism to ISIS, who then launders the money they make back into Western banks. So there you go. And then when the terrorists attack, they can take our freedoms, the government can grandstand, and that's mission complete. That's how full spectrum dominance works. You control the enemy, you control the response, and you control the people you're supposedly protecting. All this and more. The rest of the story straight ahead. James O'Keefe says he's afraid for his life with his biggest story ever.
It's no secret that government and big business buy in bulk and get huge discounts not available to the little guy. Until now. Introducing a breakthrough crowd buying website where people can join together, buy in bulk, and get massive discounts on millions of popular products. It's TogetherSave.com. TogetherSave.com. You can save 20, 30, or even 50% off tablets, smartphones, cars, appliances, textbooks, sports equipment, video games, and much more. All with free delivery. Check it out. TogetherSave.com. Visit now and start group buying today at TogetherSave.com.
Hey there, Guns80.com continues to surprise us with low prices and high-quality Ghost AR-15 rifle kits. At Guns80.com, Ghost AR-15 kits are an even better idea than buying at gun shows or through private parties, because the Ghost AR-15 kits at Guns80.com require no background checks, no registration, they don't even have serial numbers. That's what I call privacy. Go to Guns80.com to order your Ghost AR-15 rifle kit. No dealers, no hassles, ship direct. Guns80.com or 844-2GUNS80. That's 844-248-6780.
As the New World Order continues to tighten its grip on every facet of our lives, we're all asking ourselves, how can we maintain our independence? The answer is clear. Get prepared, and you get prepared now. Now the only question left is, where do we begin? My Patriot Supply is here to help. Call 800-247-3070 to get started with your 72-hour emergency food supply for only $10. We're even covering the cost of shipping. Are you willing to rely on the government and FEMA in the event of an emergency? Call 800-274-3070 to get started with your 72-hour emergency food supply for only $10. You won't be able to find this deal online, and there is a strict limit of 4 per caller, so don't wait. Call now, 800-274-3070. That's 800-274-3070. Call right now.
The month of February is all about Valentine's Day. Big heart-shaped boxes filled with delicious candy. What if we, the Patriots, hijacked Valentine's Day and instead made it about human liberty and individual empowerment? I'm all about human potential. I'm all about the individual being empowered. The establishment is the opposite. That's why they spike our water with fluoride and GMO estrogen mimickers and the rest of the garbage. InfoWars is striking back in the month of February with Human Empowerment Month. How we can come together and win the human race. And to celebrate the kickoff of Human Empowerment Month, we're slashing prices on InfoWarsLife.com products like Super Male and Super Female Vitality. The sale is only running for the month, 20% off, and there's a lot of other powerful specials at InfoWarsLife.com. InfoWarsLife.com, celebrating human potential in the month of February. Visit InfoWarsLife.com to find this special and many others in the month of February. Again, InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139.
Hey, sorry I'm running late. I had to stop and get my vitamins for the month.
I got mine in the mail yesterday from DiscountNutritionShop.com, so I'm here, totally on time.
DiscountNutritionShop.com?
Yep, they're a lifesaver in more ways than one. They have all the nutritional supplements you need, the major brands you know, plus you can save up to 10%. Write down this number, 888-908-4548.
Huh?
888-908-4548, or just go to DiscountNutritionShop.com.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Specifically, he said that the era of quantitative easing and zero interest rate policies by the Fed, that we really cannot exit this without some significant market event. And by that, I interpret it being either a stock market crash or or a prolonged recession, which would then engender another round of monetary reflation by the Fed. So he thinks something big is going to happen, that we cannot get out of this era of money printing without some repercussions, and pretty severe ones, that gold will benefit from.
We're told the economy is so great, and again, Alan Greenspan has reportedly said a significant market event, something big is going to happen. And then meanwhile, CBS News reports 4 out of 10 Americans are one bill from disaster. Almost 4 out of 10 Americans are living on the edge of financial ruin, given rainy day funds that either match or are lower than their credit card debt. About 24% have more credit card debt than emergency savings, while another 13% have neither credit card debt nor emergency savings. A new survey from Bankrate.com found, while Americans have never been particularly great savers, that's not true, at least in recent decades, many workers are finding it harder than ever to sock away money for emergencies. That's because wages have been stagnant or falling for most. The country's lowest paid workers are the only segment to see significant pay gain last year thanks to minimum wage hikes. But because of inflation, that means nothing. People don't have enough money for unplanned expenses, and if they have more credit card debt than emergency savings, it's a double whammy, said Bankrate Chief Financial Analyst Greg McBride. In the event of unplanned expenses, their options are limited. People between the ages of 30 and 49 are in the worst shape. They're supposed to be your top spenders, is between 30 and 49, by the way, folks. That's the part of your life where you spend the most, which is likely due to financial stresses of that age group, such as saving or paying for their children's tuition and paying for higher expenses, such as mortgages and child care. Nevertheless, more Americans are in better shape this year than in 2014, the survey found. That's the total whitewash. 58% of workers have more emergency savings than credit card debt compared to 51% last year. 1/4 of Americans also say they feel more secure in their jobs and are feeling better overall about their debt loads than any time since 2013. So folks are feeling good about being in record debt. And that is what a lot of the studies show. Economically, people are not in good shape, but they feel optimistic, at least if you believe these major studies that are coming out, and it's the way they phrase the questions. But here's what we know. Here is what we know. 100 million people plus, it's like 103 million, are not in the workforce. Around 50 million are on food stamps. They say 47 million, but if you count supplemental and other state-type systems, it's more like 55 million are on food stamps. Never before has the debt versus savings ratio been higher across the board. And it's only intensifying. And then what you pay for, you don't get as much value for. Big example is education. And I'm not here being a gloom and doomer, but they sell the idea that being positive will just make things better and create optimism in the economy. And that is the truth if you already have a good economy and aren't a one-crop system. But we don't have an industrial base. Our service base is eroding. Our jobs are being transferred overseas faster than you can keep track of it. And they're bringing in giant skilled, but also even larger unskilled immigrant groups to debase and drive down wages. And it hurts every American and doesn't even end up helping the third world. There's a giant sucking sound worldwide. China's getting poorer. Mexico's getting poorer. India overall is getting poorer. It's not industrializing these countries. It's not creating valuable jobs that pay them enough to build a middle-class system that creates stability. Meanwhile, when we come back, Texas governor, since January 1st, we've had more than 20,000 people come across the border, CNS News. That ties into the City of Austin website. Austin, welcoming city, sanctuary city. We're going to cover how they're basically paying to bring the illegal aliens in to then integrate them into the welfare system. And I'm going to tie that into the CBS News headline from last week. Border Patrol ordered not to arrest drunk drivers if they're illegals. In fact, reprint me that article, please. And in the memos, they said it's not your fault if they kill somebody.